Sir, good evening, sir.
Good
evening, sir.
Okay, sir. Shall we start, sir? Yes.
Yeah, we can
Yes,
start.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, Yachur, sir. Yachur, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good evening to everyone. I welcome you all for the Atal Faculty Development Program, Day 5. Today we have very special guest on behalf of Hindustan College of Engineering Technology. I would like to warm welcome our Dr. T. Armuganathan, sir, for this Atal FDP. Welcome you, sir. It's my pleasure to give a brief introduction about the guest. Dr. T. Armuganathan, sir, working as a principal scientist, farm machinery and power, ICAR Sugarcane Breeding Institute, Coimbatore. The SAR's research interest in implements and machineries for sugarcane mechanization and drones in sugarcane agriculture. SAR has completed about more than 15 research projects like development of IoT-based system for sensing soil nutrients in the sugarcane field, agriculture drone projects, satellite data for precision agriculture monitoring, which was funded by SERP, ICAR, DBT, Kerala State Government, etc. The SAR has published more than 60 scientific high-index research journals in reputed journals like Journal of Agriculture Engineering, Journal of Food Science and Technology, International Journal of Agrophysics, International Journal of Environmental and Climate Change, etc. SAR has written more than 7 book chapters, which was published by ICAR SBI Training Series, Springer Nature, ICAR Sugarcane Breeding Institute, Coimbatore. SAR has received the many awards like Tamil Nadu Agriculture University Merit Scholarship, Junior Scientist Award in the year 2004. SAR has received Endeavour Research Fellowship Award from Australia. SAR has received the numerous Best Paper Award, Best Poster Award in the various conferences and various symposiums. At this juncture, I would like to welcome our chief guest once again for this Atal FDP Day 5 session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, all of you. Most respected head of the division, head of the department of Aeronautical Engineering, and respected Sarvana Kumar, and my dear participants attending this lecture online. Very good evening, Nadal, to you. So for the next 1 hour, we are going to discuss about the application of drones in agriculture. Am I audible? Can I continue?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. You can continue.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, yeah. Okay, thank you. So this is the outline of my presentation. So first, let us have some small introduction about the drones. What is UAV or drone and its components and working principle of the drones. An application of unmanned aerial vehicle in sugarcane crop. Here we have done some research projects and some small application-oriented work in sugarcane crop. And how to do the high throughput phenotyping using UAV. That is, this is nothing but measuring the plant parameters, crop parameters in the field, like the height of the crop, and what is the biomass of the particular variety or the crop, and what is the nitrogen status or chlorophyll content present in the crop, and how it what will be the yield it will finally it will produce. So like that, many parameters are there in this phenotyping thing. Well, we have done some kind of application-oriented work in this regard as well. So that also we'll see. Then we have done very good work in demonstrating the sprayer drone across Tamil Nadu. That is a project funded by Government of India. So that also we'll see a few slides. And finally, some drone regulations in India. This is very recently DGCA has issued guidelines for using drones for various purposes. So that also we'll see. And finally, some challenges and some issues happening while using drones in agriculture. And we'll conclude the session finally. So you all know that this unmanned aerial vehicle is, in short, it is called UAV. And otherwise, it is referred as drones. So drone is the acronym of Dynamic Remotely Operated Navigation Equipment. And it is an aircraft without a human pilot. That is, it is otherwise called a flying robo. And its flight is either controlled autonomously by computers or under the remote control of a pilot on the ground. So on your right hand side, what you are seeing is a drone. It is 6 propellers are there. So this is called I think 8 propellers are there. This is octocopter. 6 means hexacopter. Like that, it goes on. So broadly, we can classify this drones into 2 categories. So military purpose drones, which is having fixed wing type. The other side, you can see that is mostly used for civilian purposes. This is quadcopter type. So some basics about this thing, the facts about the drones. So through Broadway, this can be classified into 2 broad lines. That is a multi-copter or fixed wings. So in multi-copters, yes, if it has 4 propellers, it is called quadcopter. 6 means hexa, or 8 means octa, like that it goes. Otherwise, on the left-hand side, you can see that is called fixed wing drone. So for flying the fixed wing drone, we need strips for takeoff and landing. Then fixed wing drones are normally used for large survey purpose, and it can have endurance of up to 1 hour time. Whereas in multi-copter, it doesn't require any space or landing strips for takeoff and landing. We can do takeoff from takeoff and landing anywhere in the field, provided the field should be a little bit level and clear. And this is gaining endurance, and presently it ranges from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It is again totally depend upon the battery life, and this will also cover an area. But for larger area of survey and usage, fixed wings are mostly used. So in large farms, mostly fixed wings drones are used. For smaller areas, capturing images in 1 acre, 2 acre, 5 acres, in that case, mostly quadcopter type of drones, that is, multi-copters are used. So some basic things, then we'll get into the topic. Yeah, these are the Indian UAVs mostly used in our army. DRDO developed this DRDO Rustam, a medium altitude, long endurance air vehicle, and the same way. These UAVs have different payloads and different ranges. And coming to the design and components of a drone, since most of you are aware of these things by this time, since this program is especially on drones, but still I will just touch upon some key points. So it contains a microcontroller board, that is the motherboard of the system actually. And it has got propellers, and these propellers are attached with brushless DC motors, and a transmitter will be there, transmitter or receiver will be there, and electronic speed controllers are attached here, and using that only these brushless DC motors get speed. And finally, using the rotation of this propellers, the drone takes off and goes for landing. So all these commands are given by the radio controller or remote controls. So 3 major directions of rotations are yaw, pitch, and roll. So this is how it goes. Rolling means this x-axis one. And in y-axis, this is vertical axis, it is called yaw. And otherwise, this z-axis, it is called pitch. So these are the main 3 important aspect about the flying of this drone. Well, this is how the quadcopter, in this particular slide, you can see for takeoff, how this propellers, the movement will be there, and the direction of rotation of the propellers for the landing motion, for landing the quadcopter. For forward, how it changes. So all these things you can see from this particular slide. So these are very basic things, but just for your information, I will just provide. So coming to the working principles, yes, this quadcopter is a device with the mixture of electronics, mechanical, and it works on the principle of aviation. So flying a drone and flying an aircraft is almost a similar one. So the quadcopter has 4 motors whose speed of rotation and the direction of rotation changes according to the user's desire to move the device in a particular direction. That is 4 different directions. That is takeoff, landing, forward, backward, left, and right. So these are the very important, the normally used directions involved in the flying of drones. And this rotation of motors that changes as per the transmitted signal from the transmitter. So transmitter and the pilot, they play a key role in this flying of a drone. The signal from microcontroller goes to electronic speed controllers, which in turn control the speed of the motor. Accordingly, the propeller speed will change. So coming to the application part, especially for agriculture, it has got a lot of applications. Though it is an electronic device or aviation kind mixed up the device, the application is a lot of applications are there, especially in case of agriculture. If you see the agriculture applications, it has got around 6 or 7 major applications. That is crop health monitoring. See, we are cultivating a crop for a varying duration. It depends on the duration of the crop ranges. It depends upon the type of the crop. If in case of paddy, the crop requires 3 months or 4 months time, whereas in case of sugarcane, it requires at least 10 to 12 months time. So the cropping period changes changes according to the type of crop that we are raising. So during this period, at any point of time, we can monitor the health. So how this can be done, that we will see in detail. The same way, crop yield also can be estimated. See, suppose if we are cultivating a sugarcane crop, and in the 6 months itself, if you want to estimate the yield, crop yield, it is possible. The same way, 8 months, 10 months. So we have to do a lot of research over that, and we can develop kind of models using the index values. So that can be used for a crop yield estimation. The same way, for most of the crops, this is possible, and in many crops, this estimation has been done. For sugarcane also, we have done. Some researchers have studied this one and achieved a good output from in this case. And other than that, we can do some soil and field analysis of the nutrient and irrigation management. So, so when we see the soil with our naked eyes, or with our assumption, we can't predict any nutrient or any other. We can't predict the nutrient or micronutrient level or moisture level present in the soil. So for doing this analysis, we have to perform a kind of laboratory analysis. We have to draw the sample from the field, and that samples will be prepared and phosphorus. So these are the 3 major nutrients that affects the growth of any crop. Not only for sugarcane, for any crop, these 3 are considered as a major nutrients. So these 3 nutrients, especially this nitrogen, this plays a major role, and that estimation can be done using the drone image analysis, or applying some kind of software applications, and that can be done. The same way, irrigation also. See how by using some kind of thermal imaging system, this irrigation or the water present in the field or in the leaf, water content of the leaf, all those things can be estimated from using a drone, provided the payload has to be appropriately provided. Then in some cases, they are trying planting of the seeds in the forest area. It is also being done using drones, and spraying. In recent days, this sprayer drones are very popular, and you can see in your area or in any agriculture field these days, at least in any village, somebody might have experienced using drones these days, because Government of India is giving a lot of emphasis for using this high-end technology in the farmers' field. So they have provided a lot of fundings for doing this demonstration, and they're taking this technology to farmers' fields. That we have also done some work that I will share. So then another application is the crop damage assessment for insurance post-cyclone or heavy rain. Suppose in some village or some taluk, because of the cyclone or heavy rainfall, the crop damage may be there. So how to quantify that? So this damage assessment is it's quite possible in larger areas using drones. Otherwise, how they do earlier means so a team will be there. They will be visiting few spots in the affected area, and they will come to a judgment. Sometimes that may be correct, or sometimes most of the time it may not be very correct. Whereas here, in case of using drones, we can do some drone flying over there with a camera, and we can capture those images. And using that, we can come to know how the damage has happened and what is the extent of damage happened in that particular village or particular locality. So these are some of the applications oriented to agriculture. Other applications are also there. We can during the festival or religious events, even during rallies, we can monitor the crowd using this drones. Especially these police personnel are using these drones these days to monitor the crowd or to reach the unreachable area using the drones. Riot control, dam monitoring, especially for dam monitoring and all. Very big dams, it can't be monitored very easily using human beings. So it will be very risky as well. So in that high risk areas, we can fly drones over there and take images and capture videos. Using that, we can monitor any issues there in the dam. So the same way, power line inspection. So very close inspection on the power line is also possible using these drones. And highway, the corridor aerial survey, search and rescue operations can be done. Disaster management, military application, mapping, journalism, photography. So many applications are there these days, and we will restrict our today's presentation to agriculture. So these are the broad 5 areas these drones can be used. So as I mentioned, this crop health monitoring, soil assessment, irrigation planning, all these things are possible with this drone and its images. So spraying is also another important usage that is being done in most of the farms across Tamil Nadu or across India. The damage assessment, as I mentioned, is if particular locality is affected with any high rainfall or cyclone kind of thing, then that can be assessed. And another important application is the yield estimation. So we'll see the application part. Before that, I will tell you how we have to do the image capturing and other things. So drone is actually a platform, that's all. It is a kind of a gadget that can be used for flying, that's all. But the way you use the payload is nothing but the camera or whatever the attachment that you are mounting with the drone, that is called a payload. So the application of the drone depends upon the kind of payload what we use. So the payload usage varies depending upon our application. When we attach a normal camera, RGB camera and all, we can capture images or we can capture videos. We can record videos or while flying the drone. So that can be used for assessing, developing some indexes. Index that I'll come to you later. So RGB is one type of the camera. So if you see the remote sensing components, you can see 3 different components are there: sensors or cameras. This is called payload. Whatever sensor you use, that technically it is called a payload, and very particularly we can call it as RGB sensor. RGB sensor is nothing but a camera which captures the RGB images. RGB images are nothing but whatever image we capture using our mobile phones or whatever we see with our human eye. Our eye is also a camera capturing the RGB images. And other than that, infrared cameras are there, NIR, near infrared cameras, NDVA. NDVA is an important index that can be calculated using this image reflectance values. Then multispectral cameras are there, hyperspectral cameras, LiDAR sensors, thermal sensors, sonar. So many sensors are there. So here you can see the pictures of different sensors. RGB camera is normal camera, NDVA. In some cameras, NDVA can be directly measured. Some instruments are there that I will tell you later. Then near infrared, LiDAR sensor, thermal sensors are available. So these cameras, they will capture the temperature in that particular object. Suppose if you are capturing the image of thermal image of a plant, it will capture the temperature, particularly in that particular leaf or in the plant, that will be recorded and the image will be captured. So different applications are there. The same way multispectral cameras are there. This will have at least 6 sensors. RGB will be there, NIR will be there, red edge will be there. Like that, different wavelength images this can capture. So I will discuss those things in the coming slides. The same way hyperspectral. So multispectral has a particular range, that particular nanometer only it will capture the image. Whereas hyperspectral has wide variation in that the wavelength of that image. This can capture. So after capturing this image, that is the work of this particular drone. It will capture the image. That's all. It will capture images or videos using the attached or payload, like which the different cameras, they will capture the different images. And further, these images, that images will be processed through some software. So here our platform is drone. UAV, different platforms are there. Fixed UAVs are there. Flexible UAVs, airborne. So many different kind of platforms are available. So fixed wing, multi-rotor, and satellite is also a platform. Handheld cameras are also a different platform, and vehicle mount sensors. So this vehicle mount is also considered as a platform. So these platforms are used for capturing the images using the sensors or cameras. So finally, the third important component is the image analysis. So for processing these images, so either RGB image or multispectral image, so that will be processed using these 4 type of softwares: Fix4D, DigiSoft, ArcGIS, QGIS. So some softwares are open source software, some need to. So if you see the UAV platform, fixed wing and rotor, multi-rotor are available. So yes, this is just a quick glance of this UAVs. Multi-rotor, the launching and landing vertically is possible, and it doesn't require a large space. Fixed wing, large flight duration is possible because of the battery capacity and can carry a heavy payload. You can see the sensors, different sensors. This will give you a better idea about the sensors compared to the previous slide. Hyperspectral, RGB, NIR, LIDAR, different are there. These are the different application softwares. So to run a project on drone or UAV, we need these 4 important components. That is the main idea behind this slide. So coming to the drone platforms especially, so mostly we'll be dealing with these drone applications only. So DJI Phantom 4, this is again an outdated model. Now advanced models are available these days. So this is having a weight of 1.3 kg with flight time of 28 minutes, and it has got single camera here, but now advanced models have come. So that is provided with a multispectral camera with 6 channels. It can record. Other than RGB, it will record all other 3 important reflectance sensors. Then M100, yeah, this is weighing around 2.5 kg with a flight time of 22 minutes. It can mount, the multiple sensors can be mounted here. And this is DJI M600 Pro, this weighing around 9 kg. And again, here also, you can mount thermal sensors, hyperspectral. So hyperspectral sensor, so that kind of multiple sensor mounting is possible here with higher endurance. So on the bottom, we can see, we might have seen the different fixed wing sensors, fixed wing UAVs. Coming to the sensors in particular, so I mentioned 3 type of the sensors. That is RGB sensor, multispectral camera or sensor, and hyperspectral. So what is the difference between these 3? So if you see our spectrum, it starts from around less than 400 nanometer to it will be around 2500 nanometer. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. So what we can see through our eyes, that is in this GR region, that is 400 to 700. So this is called the RGB region. So in this region, 400 to 700, we can see. So once it crosses the 700 nanometer range, so this spectrum, this electromagnetic spectrum, this particular range is called infrared, from 700 to 1000, and 1000 to 1600 is near infrared. Like that, so every color or every range will have different spectrum values. So here you can see this RGB imaging, it will have 460 to 640. In case of multispectral, yes, it will have some 6 bands. This is right from this 460 to 640, then a little bit higher than that, then up to infrared, up to 1000 nanometer it will capture. Whereas in case of hyperspectral, it can capture n number of images, n number of ranging wavelength that will capture, starting from 400 nanometer to 2500 nanometer. So wide range of this image reflectance capturing is possible with this hyperspectral sensor. Whereas in case of thermal sensors, it will capture the images in this. I mean, more than that. I mean, the infrared band it will capture. So you can see in the UV range, visible range, near infrared range, short wave infrared, and long wave infrared. So based upon the reflectance value, or based on our application, we can select the different kind of sensors. So normally we use this multispectral camera for measuring, assessing the plant health. As I mentioned, every plant will have different durations. For example, paddy will have 3 to 4 months duration, and sugarcane will have 10 to 12 months duration. So during this cropping cycle, the leaf color changes from dark green to yellow or red, or sometimes it will become dry finally. So based on the color change in the leaves, the reflectance pattern of the light changes. So what these cameras are like RGB or hyperspectral, what they do, they will capture the light reflectance from that particular leaf, and even green leaf. These leaves have different kind of reflectance patterns. Green leaf will reflect the light in a different way, whereas in case of dried leaf or the leaf with the disease, that will reflect the light in a different way. So these cameras, they capture this image as per the reflectance of the from the leaf. That will be that reflectance value will be recorded, and here you can see this is the NDVI map. So these reflectance values that will be used for generating these indexes. So these are all called different indexes. This is the NDVA, normalized difference vegetation index. This is green NDVA, green normalized difference vegetation index. So like that, it will. We can in the next slide you can see n number of indexes can be developed. We can estimate. So this NDVA, this is the most popularly used the vegetation index, especially for studying the crop health or crop yield estimation, and all these things. This NDVA values are used. So this NDVA is calculated using this equation. That is the reflectance value of this NIR region. The leaf which reflects the light, and that NIR light, how it reflected. That reflectance value is used in the same way red, how the red value or red reflectance was the value of was recorded. And here you can see NIR plus red. So this will give us some kind of index. So this NDVA value ranges from 0 to 1. So if it is nearing 1 means it is green in color and it is very healthy. The same way, if it is of very low values, then we can understand the leaf is either dried, or even if the leaf is dried, it will be ranging from 0.3 to 0.4. If anything goes below 0.3 or 0.2 means it will be of soil, or the leaf or that particular location, some crop damage is there. See here you can see in all this blue color one, this is of healthy crop. So good NDVA value will be there. And here you can see this is all the crop is damaged here. In between you can see these lines. So these are nothing but soil. Soil will have different reflectance patterns or NDVA values. So that we can measure. You can see the different color here. So these all red are all soil. Or sometimes if it is here means the crop is damaged. So the NDVA with low values are here reflected in, different color. So I discussed about only with the NDV value. So it's the same way many indexes are there. So what we have to do is now we have to fly the drones very frequently based on the duration of the crop. If it is of paddy, then every week or every 10 days we need to fly the drone and record the NDV values. Whereas in case of sugarcane and all, if it is a 12-month crop, then right from 6 months onwards, every month or once in 15 days, if we fly, we'll have NDV values. So this NDV value with final, what you can say, yield, they will have definitely, they have some correlation. The same way this NDV value can be used for biomass. So whenever we do this NDV value estimation, we have to do the ground truthing. Ground truthing is nothing but recording parameters in the field. That is called ground truthing. Suppose if we are measuring some nitrogen content estimation, so NDVA will give some value. So the same way we have to analyze, we have to remove that leaves and do some nitrogen analysis. So the same way every month, if we conduct once in 10 days, if you calculate, estimate the NDVA based on the drone image, will simultaneously we have to record the nitrogen content from that, nitrogen content or chlorophyll content of that particular leaf, or particular block, or particular crop. Then you can find some correlation in that. So in that way, further we can estimate in the next season or so, only NDVA values are sufficient. If the particular NDVA in the 6th month is this much, then we can say this particular crop is having this much nitrogen content or chlorophyll content like that. So I'm just giving an example. So the same way, different indexes are there. So green NDVA, normalized difference, red edge. So all these index can be calculated using the reflectance value in that particular sensor, NIR sensor or red or like that. So this will give different values, and our parameter, that research we have to do. See, sometimes NDRE will have better correlation with the crop yield and management for particular crop, for paddy or for sugarcane, for any other crop, pulse crop, like that. So that researching that we have to do, and we have to finally come out with the kind of forecasting. So here you can see we have used drones for flying over our sugarcane crop. See, normally for other sugarcane, other agriculture crops, they will have 1 or 2 meters height in the field. So mostly they will be of short duration crops of 3 months or 4 months time. So you can stand in the corner of the field and you can at least judge visually how the crop health is, whether it is good or not, and some gap also you can find. Whereas in case of sugarcane, so it will grow more than 3 meter or 4 meter height. So once it crosses our height of roughly around 1.5 or 2 meter height, then it is very difficult to judge the crop, the health of the crop inside the crop. Inside the field. So left hand side you can see this is the one sugarcane field with different varieties. So from the ground it is very difficult to visualize how it looks from the top, and how the leaf color changes over for different varieties and all. So in that case, drone can be used, and this is how we can capture the images. And here you can see these are the RGB image, and these particular 2-3 rows are different varieties. Here you can differentiate. This particular variety is having high chlorophyll content or dark leaves, and this particular variety is having a different kind of leaves, and the reflectance patterns of these leaves, all these leaves will be very, very different. And sometimes you can see here also the crop growth is not good. Some gaps are there and some issue is there. So all these things we can quantify using this drone images capturing from the top. That is one thing. So using this RGB camera images or videos, we can visualize these images and videos in our desktop or system, and we can come to know the condition of the crop we have. The other kind of system is visual difference will be there. Even in the healthier crop, in the previous slide you have seen different varieties, though they are very healthy, but the leaf color is different. Whereas when some disease happens, the leaf will express it immediately. So here you can see These are the different diseases normally occur or some micronutrient deficiencies, symptoms of the crop. So here you can see this is of different system. Here in this is the actual field condition. You can see this particular in these four rows. This particular crop is requiring higher iron content or like that. So iron deficiency is there. So here you can see this is a healthy crop. So the same way, we can quantify how many rows are having this kind of micronutrient deficiency or some kind of disease symptom. So that quantifying is possible. And if we fly the drones very frequently over the field, then we can come to know immediately when some visual symptom changes. Immediately we can do some management practice inside using those the captured images. So what we can measure using these images. So these RGB images can be used to see the canopy cover and plot graphs. See, normally for in case of breeding or developing any variety, normally we measure the canopy cover and the crop vigor. Crop vigor is nothing but how healthy the crop is at the initial stages. So to quantify that, here you can see all these three rows are of different crops and it exhibits different canopy covers. The healthy crops will have more canopy and will cover immediately. So this is how we can do. We can, after capturing the images, we can draw the data, this NDV value from this particular square, like that 1, 2, 3, 4 different 4 blocks of 4 varieties. This here we can study the different indexes and that can be correlated with the ground truth value. At the same time, we need to take leaves from this and estimate whatever parameter we want to know. That is kind of chlorophyll content or nitrogen content present in that, and we can correlate with different indexes. So one particular index will give very good correlation for us. So that way we can proceed. The other one is canopy height. Suppose if we want to measure the crop height, canopy height, that is possible with this 3D point cloud system. Or digital surface model can be developed using the images captured here. So this will give us the height of the crop at any particular location. So this is the DSM graph. So if we keep a cursor over there in the software, it will tell what is the height of the crop. So here also you can see in a better way, that is how many gaps are there, how the green cover is there. So all these things can be measured using these drones, using these RGB images. So as I mentioned, plant and soil analysis is possible with the multispectral or hyperspectral sensors. So this particular picture gives you this idea how this what is that reflectance pattern and all. So our electromagnetic spectrum, that is the light system, will have the IR, R, G, B, all ranges will be there. Okay, so when the light falls on the leaves, it will get reflected depending on the reflection of the light depending upon the type of the leaf or the condition of the leaf. So these sensors mounted with this this fixed wing, this UAV will capture the reflectance light coming from the leaves. So based on that reflectance image, that image will be processed and the index will be developed. So this is the simple concept, a very basic principle of using these drones along with the sensors. So only if you are familiar or if you are, you have to understand this basic principle, that's all. So light falling on the leaves will be different. Light falling on the soil will reflect in a different way. So if you capture that reflectance images, we'll get the reflectance values. So if we get the reflectance values, based on that, we can estimate the different indexes like NDVA, NDRE, like there's so many indexes I have shown you. So these index values will be used for estimating the yield and many parameters, even irrigation, many things can be done using that. So this is the drone that we have purchased for our project, and this is the drone Inspire 1 drone mounted with the multispectral camera. So this will capture the images in 5 different wavelength bandwidth. So the blue, this is the wavelength nanometer 475, same way near and IR is 840 nanometer, and red edge will have 770 nanometer. So if we have these 3 red, NIR and R, so if we have these 3, at least we can develop many indexes over there. So this is how the multispectral camera looks. So this we purchased separately and this drone separately, and we mounted with that. And this we have used for our research work. So this is how the drone, while flying over the field, sugarcane field in our sugarcane breeding institute. This is located in Coimbatore, and here we have done some work using this drone mounted with red edge camera. So that is multispectral camera, and in the front you can see this is the RGB camera. So simultaneously we can capture both multispectral and RGB camera. And you are aware that using this ground, the pilot will be there in the ground, and he will have the kind of iPad or some mobile, some platform will be there, and he can visualize how the drone flies from there, from in the top. So we have to map that is a very standard procedure is there. So first we have to upload the map and all, and the area we have to mark. Then accordingly we can select a flying pattern. So once we go for auto flight mode or manual flying mode, so we can fly the drone as per the flight path given. So as per the mission plan, this will go. It will capture for every flying as per the commands we have given. It will capture the images. So we can change the settings. So while flying the drone, it will capture image every second, once in a second, or once in 2 seconds if you want to capture an image. Yes, it will capture. So accordingly, throughout its flying, it will capture the image, and these images will be stored in the memory card provided in the drone camera. Then we can retrieve the images from that memory card, and that will be used for flying, analysis. So this overlapping and flight plan is very important. So once you do some kind of researching, you can come to know for your crop which direction you are sowing and which direction you want to fly. All those things by experience you will come to know. So that should be some kind of overlapping over the images. Suppose if the drone is capturing an image here, so immediately after 1 or 2 seconds, it should capture the image. So this kind of overlapping we have to give 75%, 50%, 40%. Again, in the software, in the mobile app, that can be changed. And normally we use 75% overlapping between these images and 75% overlap between the rows or adjacent images. So this is one particular flight path. So you can see this is the area we need to map. But we have to make a flight plan like this. So this will fly in this fashion, and it will capture all these images. Finally, you can remove the border, this borderline, this border area, and we'll get the whatever actual cropping area in that. So RGB images, I need not to tell because you are all aware of. You are very good in capturing images using drones. Mobile cameras and all. That is the RGB image. Whereas in case of multispectral sensor images, this is how it looks. The image 1, 2, 3. Outside this multispectral red edge camera has 5-channel capturing capacity. So this is how in the first channel, say at one particular location, it will capture all 5 sensors will capture image. So this is how it looks. So this is a sugarcane field in our institute. So you can see this is the crops. This is the crop in this row, 20 feet row. This crop is there. So since it is an experimental field, we normally go for 20 feet row length. So different varieties planted in different rows. So you can see the difference. Here you can see some gaps are there, or sometimes this particular channel has the capability to record only this much reflectance value, or this particular crop has different reflectance pattern. Whereas here you can see that will have some kind of different reflectance patterns. The same way, you can see all 5 different channels capturing at different in a different manner. And another observation you can see here is. See, we were doing irrigation while capturing the image. So from this side, we started irrigating. So you can see the difference in reflectance pattern on the irrigation. So this is the unirrigated area. So that will have different reflectance pattern, and this is the irrigated area. So it will have different reflectance pattern. So based on that, the same way, as I mentioned, so we have to develop some indexes like NDV, NRD, and kind of thing. On the right hand side, you take you measure the soil moisture in that, and after continuously doing, we can come to a conclusion, or we can correlate that. If NDV value for the soil is this much, it is an irrigated soil. If value is this much, then this is not a dried soil kind of thing. So this is how this multispectral images can be used. And yeah, this is the same thing. So the green leaves or healthy plant, this will have different reflectance patterns. Here you can see near infrared is 50% reflected. Visible is 8%. Here you can see this is not a healthy crop. This is a mostly dried crop. So this will have different reflectance pattern. If you work out the NDV value, it will be a 0.72, which is of good, it is quite closer to 1. So it is a healthy crop. Here you can see this is a 0.14, this NDV value. So this is not a healthy crop. So this is the basic simple picture, simple image. It will tell you how this NDV can be used for assessing the crop level. The same way, we have used the drone for capturing images in five different locations in our research farm. So here, all these 5 different located fields are with experimenting with drought. So we were irrigating in half of the block, and half of the block was not irrigated. So here you can differentiate. See, the NDV value of the irrigated or the healthy crop is of green in color, whereas in the drought affected field is of full of red in color. So this is a simple image. On this, you can understand how NDV value can be used for assessing the crop health. So this value can be used for estimating the yield and other parameters. See, normally, you can see in this field, if you visualize using RGB camera, you can't differentiate with the crop or soil. Whereas if you look at the same area with an RGB, multispectral camera, you can differentiate where is the road, where is the soil is located, where actually the only crop is there. Not only visualizing, you can quantify what is the cropping area, what is the green area in that. So you can measure the cropping area here and measure the soil area, measure the roads. All these things are possible. Here, even in this image, you can see here you can see it is of sugarcane crop with different rows. And here in one particular region, the crop is not good or some crop is damaged. Here you can see in the NDV value also you can quantify. The same way you can continue for other crops or at other stages also. This is also the same thing. So dead leaf will have different reflectance patterns. Stressed leaf will have different healthy leaf. So these 3 differences there. Stressed leaf, some kind of stress will be there. If water is not there, some stress will be there. If some nutrient deficiency is there, that will be another abiotic stress. If any disease is there, then that will have a different reflectance pattern. Whereas the leaf is dead or the tree is dead, it will have that particular leaf is having different patterns. So normally for dead plants and soil and all, an NDV value will be 0, not less than 0. It will be 0 only. So NDV normally, if it is for less than for 0.33 and all, unhealthy plants, and so the range will be 0 to 1. If with the value which is nearing 1, we can conclude it as a healthy plant. Okay, then image types, different types of images, as I mentioned, thermal images. Yes, DSM, spectral, all we have seen multispectral. This thermal images will be looking like this. So thermal cameras are normally used for capturing this image. I will show you all those things. So the NDVA, CAR, composite, NR, NDRE. So these are all different indexes used for different estimations. So plant vigor, stress detection, fertilizer demand, nitrogen uptake. So every index will have different kind of application, and we can select this index or we can calculate it as per our requirement. So how to proceed, how to do the mission planning and all? Yes, this is how the systematically, these are the different steps in doing this, starting from the mission plan to data analytics, that is arriving the final data. So normally we go for 75 to 80% overlap and 60-meter flight height. is normally preferred for capturing this using in this quadcopter kind of drones. The 2 to 4 centimeter that difference is there. Then shutter speed. These are the different parameters normally we fix for the drone images. And first, before doing that, we have to do the field GPS GPS values we have to record, because every GPS will have some kind of variation that will not be so accurate. There will be a deviation of 1 meter or less than 1 meter. That difference will be there. So to adjust that issue in case of final estimation, so we need to have a similar kind of fixed arrangement over the field, so that finally in the images we can mark everything. So we have to take the actual GPS value in the 4 corners of the field. Then once it is ready, so this is the field parameters. We have taken some 7-hectare block. So one experiment we have conducted for estimating the nitrogen content in the field. I will show you finally that field size and all. So for there are 90 plots where there with the different fertilizer application levels. So 3 different fertilizer application levels we have taken up. So one this sugarcane crop in one particular block, low nitrogen was applied. In another block, high nitrogen, and in another block, less nitrogen. So regular, higher, and lower. 3 different kind of dosages were applied and replicated in field in the different zones. So we have used this multispectral camera, whereas if we use RGB images, it will produce around 1800 images, which is having a capacity of storage capacity which needs for 5 GB kind of images it will produce. And in case of multispectral camera, it will generate the images having the having a capacity of 10 GB volume. And hyperspectral camera, these final images, if you see altogether, it will generate 25 GB data in this 7-hectare field. Whereas thermal camera, it produces 4 GB data in that. So this is So first we have to mark the boundaries using these permanent markers should be there, and GPS values we have to record. And finally, we take the drone to the field and mount the mobile camera. This sensors or this multispectral camera over there. And you need to fly the drone in the field. And this is how the drone mission plan was provided. And this is called the ground control point. So this is the exact point. Ground control points are there. These were provided in the different places. Then once the images are collected or captured, this is how the one particular image will be there. If you see, look at the field from the top. So the same way, depending upon the RGB or multispectral, that much number of 800 or 1000 images will be there. So these images have to be stitched and to get an orthomosaic images. Orthomosaic image is nothing but the image which is having the altitude value or this lat lang values. So that is called a single image with different GPS values or lat lang values. In simple image, you can't estimate anything from this. So we have to capture the images like this, and finally you have to stitch, and finally you will achieve the total overall field image will be looking like this. Then this image processing is done using this Pic4D software. Here we have to upload all the drone captured images here, and you can see this is how the image processing is done using that processing software. And you can see this is the NDV map of that particular field where we have done the drone flying. So here, as I mentioned, we have 3 different zones: low, medium, and high. So here we have different. This coloring pattern we can change. So here you can see the NDV values with very less values are provided with the green color. You can see out of the boundaries of the fields are with the soil and all. So that is looking in green in color. And the healthy crop or the high nitrogen content crop is reflected here in red color. You can see. So on the other side, it is very less. Whereas wherever we have applied the low nitrogen or low fertilizer here, so you can see this particular rectangular blocks. these particular blocks are provided with the low fertilizer or low nitrogen content, estimated in this field. So here you can visualize, but if you want to record the NDVI values of particular this particular block or particular region, it is possible. Yeah, this is for ground cover estimate. As I mentioned, in case of developing any particular variety from different some 10-15 varieties, if you want to estimate which variety is good in initial vigor or good growth, so initially the field conditions will be like this. So here you can't you can judge, but you can't quantify much. So whereas if you see the spectral maps here, you can see this particular variety is having good ground cover. So in that way, you can select this particular variety is having good cover and it is having good vigor. So that will be taken for further breeding mode. So yes, as I mentioned, while flying the drone, the same day you have to measure the we have to do the ground truthing also. Ground truthing is nothing but measuring the crop parameters in the field. So like plant height, plant count, everything we have to do. So this is the green seeker, one handheld instrument that can be used for direct recording of NDVI value from the field. So just we have to hold the green seeker instrument over the leaf of the crop. That will give the NDVI value. That also we can record, and this value can be correlated with the NDVI map generated values. This particular figure we have seen. And the next application is using the thermal cameras. This is how the thermal camera looks, and this is how the thermal imagery which is taken from this camera looks like. I will tell you, yeah, these thermal cameras, they capture video files actually. So from these video files, we can generate the map of our field using the software provided by them. And you can see the cooler regions are having dark reflectance, and hotter regions are you can visualize from here. So this is the crop, sugarcane crop with different varieties and different treatments. So here you can see this particular canopy temperature is very cold. So this particular crop or this particular variety can withstand in drought condition. Whereas in this particular condition itself, this crop is exhibiting, these leaves are in burning sensation, and soon it will get dried off. So this is kind of conclusions we can come to, we can arrive. And that will be used for the developing the drought resistant varieties. So this is how the canopy temperature assessment and all done. So since the time is around, very, very short, I will just run through the slides. In case of thermal guns, yes. In thermal cameras, the drone mounted cameras will capture the entire field data, temperature profile of the entire field, whereas we need to do some ground truthing also, as I mentioned. So using this flip camera, thermal camera, we need to visit the field then and there, and the same day or at the same time, we need to record the actual temperature in the leaf. Then we can see any correlation is there, or the drone captured images, that the temperature generated from that image as well as the ground truthing images are same. The damage assessment, yes, they will capture this RGB images or multispectral images, and this is how the condition will be there when some disaster happens, and based upon the crop, the reflectance will be there. So here you can see it is full of water and we'll be having very less NDVI, or the gaps will be more. So we can easily point out that particular area is damaged with some kind of disaster. This is the chlorophyll mapping done by Dr. Sahu and Atal from Indian Agriculture Research Institute in New Delhi. They have done the chlorophyll mapping of wheat field using the vegetation index, composite vegetation index from the UAV mounted MECA sensor, multispectral camera. So here you can see the chlorophyll content and this index values. So they have correlated that. So here you can see the correlation, this model. The fit is around the R-square value of this particular model or this particular fit is 0.61. For biological material, anything more than 0.6 is considered as good fit. So here you can see on the other side, the CV index of different wheat crop grown in the field. You can visualize using this particular graph. or particular this CVA values. So different varieties will exhibit in different reflectance patterns. Here also you can see this is the rice genotypes they have screened using this RGB, this multispectral images. So you can see in the RGB image will be looking like this. And this is biomass, different vegetation index, dry biomass values and the biomass NDVA values they have estimated, and it has got around R-square value around 0.6. It means this is a good correlation. So whenever see once this model is developed and validated, then in the coming seasons, when particular rice genotype or particular rice variety is grown, in that particular crop, if we capture the drone image and if we estimate that BNDV value, that will give the dry biomass. What is the biomass value available in that particular genotype? That can be immediately, without doing any groundworking or any field analysis and all, we can easily do. If it is of single variety, that is very easy to do that. But if it is of different varieties, manually doing this ground truthing or estimating is very laborious. So if we have a similar kind of imaging system, different varieties can be screened in single fly index. So these are the different parameters: yield, biomass, height, everything can be estimated. The same with leaf area index. That is also having good correlation with this particular index, green normalized difference vegetation index. So these indexes can be calculated using that software, image processing software. So for RGB imaging, for estimating the biomass, yes, this camera, this much specific camera details are provided here. Multispectral image for this particular crop. These are the different research publications available in the public domain or in the internet. You can access if you have for better understanding. You can go through these papers and you can see how they have estimated all those things. So the same way, hyperspectral imaging and thermal imaging. So water stress, everything is possible using this. So sum up here, the yield, biomass, leaf area index, these are the mostly used traits for estimating in plants. And these are the normally used methods. Yield is using the weight, ruler measurement is used, rulers are used for, for estimating height, chlorophyll. This fluorescence analysis, some spectrophotometers are used, and that will have that's a high that requires like more time for estimating all those things. Whereas in case of we use UAV in a single flying, you can measure all these parameters, and this is a lot of time you can save. It is high efficiency. It is a kind of non-destructive method. See, for estimating this chlorophyll content, you need to pluck the leaves or remove the leaves or plants. For its biomass estimation, also you need to remove the whole plant. Whereas if you have this UAVs, we need not remove any plant. We need not do any destructive sampling. So this is possible with UAV. And again, the disadvantages are also there. So some weather parameters are not favorable. We can't, do the flying, and we can't do the data analysis. And for doing the data analysis, you need the software and other kind of data analysis system that is also required. Then another system that we have done for another small piece of work that we have done in collaboration with Central Institute of Cotton Research. So here we have used this AG-Soft Metashape software for estimating the different indexes. So number of images, you can see it is 485 images, 40 meter altitude we have used. And these are the different parameters. And this is how the images will look like when we download the images from the camera. So there are 6 channels are there in the DJI Phantom camera. So these 5 are multispectral, and this is RGB camera. So 6 images will be there for a single shot. And this many number of images will be there, and that will be uploaded in the X4D software, and we can develop generate different images like this. So this is a DEM map, the digital elevation model. This will give the crop height. This is orthomosaic generation. You can see the crop figure and the crop growth in different regions. This is the NDVA value. So in this particular orthomosaic image, we can't predict the health of the crop. Whereas here you can see based on this NDVA values, we can see which is healthy crop and which is unhealthy crop, or the crop growth is poor. So here we have used two different genotypes of two different varieties of cotton crops, Suraksha and RCH 578. So here we have changed the different nitrogen content of fertilizer levels. So nitrogen was applied, no nitrogen was applied here. N0 is no nitrogen. Then recommended dose of 25% nitrogen was applied, 100%, 200%. So like that, we have done different. We applied fertilizers at a different rate, and finally we have allowed the drone to fly over the field, capture these images, and we have estimated the different NDVA values. Yes. After 70 days after planting, since the cotton crop is having short duration, so we have allowed the drone to fly in 15 days and all. So this is the mean NDVA value at 70 days of interval. So you can see 0.1, that is very low NDVA values are reflected with dark blue color, and high NDVA values are reflected as in green color. So here you can see different, depending upon the fertilizer or nitrogen content we have supplied to the crop, the reflectance pattern or the growth pattern of the crop is you can visualize from this particular crop. So you can quantify the values also, and finally that will be used for estimating the yield and other parameters. The same way we have done some height estimation using the drones of different sugarcane crop of different varieties. Here you can see research experiment with the different varieties with different treatments and all. So this is how the images, RGB image looks like that. And this is the orthomosaic image, means the image with the lat line value, and 3D mapping also that can be done to estimate the average height of the crop at particular month or particular flying. And green leaf index of the previous image. So this is the actual field image of RGB, and this is the green leaf index images. So the image which is having high value is reflected in dark blue or dark green color, and which is having the low green leaf coverage, green leaf index will have different colors. So these are the different varieties, variety parameters, and flying times. And you can see, finally, we have done some ground truthing as well. So if you see the measured height, it will be for this particular variety, it is up to 130 centimeter, estimated height is 135 centimeter. So there will be a slight variation in that. So if you see the overall, the accuracy, it is of 97.64%. And coming to the other part of application is sprayer drone. In case of sprayer drone, these are the different parts of the sprayer drone. So there will be a tank where we need to fill the spray fluid. And here the drone is same, but this is with higher payload. The payload is nothing but the spraying system. In the previous one, what we have seen is there the payload system is camera. So that is of a very less weight drone, 1.5 to 2.5 kg only. It will carry the camera. Here it will carry the spraying. All other things are the same. So here you can see, so once the material is filled here, then that will be taken to the field, and that can be used to fly over the field. So that is another video. Because of the paucity of time, I'm skipping those videos. So here you can see, say this drone will be allowed to fly over the field, and that will be the spray fluid, whether if we spray any pesticide or herbicide or weed control or some nutrient, micronutrient, whatever material we want to spray over the field, that is possible. In case of some disease symptom, anything is noticed in the field, we can use some pesticide or some kind of management for managing that particular disease and micronutrient symptom. We keep that that particular chemical in that spraying system, and that will there will be 4 spray nozzles will be there in that. So when drone flies over the field, simultaneously it will spray the material. So for 1 acre, it takes only hardly 6 minutes. So 10 liters of spray fluid is sufficient for 1 acre. But 1 acre, for spraying 1 acre, 10 liters of fluid is sufficient for other crops other than sugarcane. For sugarcane, we need 20 liters of, of material, spray material. So these are some other findings of Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University. They have done extensively. They have studied this one and the height at which this should be sprayed. Everything they have studied, and they found that 1 meter crop height. I mean, above the crop canopy. Suppose if our crop sugarcane crop is of 2 meter height, the drone should be allowed to fly over the crop. Above 1 meter above the crop canopy. That is, from the ground, it should be it should be allowed to fly at 3 meter height. And at the speed at which it should fly, that is also they have standardized. And yes, these are the different parameters they have observed, and they found that 95% of time, energy, and water can be saved if drones are used, and 25% of pesticide dosage that is also can be reduced. Like that, they have studied, and these are the 2-3 important conditions when we use this spray drones in the field. The wind direction velocity should be the wind, the wind. Sorry, 5 meters per second. That should, in that condition, if the wind velocity is this much, then we should not fly. And normally we have to do the spraying operation in. It should be below the 3 meters per second wind velocity, and temperature also we need to be very careful. Normally we perform the spraying operation only in the early morning or up to 10 or 11 o'clock, and we can continue spraying after 3 o'clock. So we should avoid spraying anything between in the hottest part of the day, that is ranging from 12 o'clock to 2 or 3 o'clock. So that time we better to avoid that time. And again, we should not spray when the humidity is low, so that will affect the treatment. And then our government of India has launched a program on promoting Kisan drones for. That is our agenda of our Union Minister, and they have inaugurated the demonstration of this high-end technology in the farmers' field on May 2022, and we provided with the spraying drone, and we are doing this spraying, demonstrating this spray drone technology in the farmers to the farmers, and with the support of the sugar factories located in Satyamangalam, Bannariman Sugars, Kothari Sugars, and Bannariman Sugars in Thiruvannamalai, Thirukkovilur. All these region, so far we have covered almost more than 200 hectares, and we do this demonstration free of cost. And these sprayer drones were used, and then mostly we sprayed the micronutrient and some kind of herbicides. So if you look at the results, I have come to the conclusion. Only 2-3 slides only. Normally, when we do manual spraying, it requires 40 tanks per hectare, and 10 minutes is required for filling and spraying per tank. So if you see, to complete 1 hectare spraying using the drone, it requires only 90 minutes. Whereas here you can see 6 hours and 40 minutes. So this much time can be reduced for spraying 1 hectare. The cost of operation will remain same only. So normally we charge these drone service providers charge 600 to 800 rupees per acre. So this comes around 2,000 rupees per hectare. Whereas for manual spraying, they charge the spraying person charge for 40 rupees per tank. So again, it also comes around to 2,000 rupees. So there is no change in cost of operations. Chemical, yes, same chemical only we use. Water quantity, here you can see it is 50 liters per hectare we require. And here it requires 400 liters per hectare. Cost of operation also almost similar. So if you see the effectiveness are based upon the farmers' feedback, most of the farmers they are of the opinion that the drone technology is very effective. The same way, manual spraying is also effective. Whereas in case of easiness in doing, a drone is very easy and exposure to chemical is reduced to greater extent. Otherwise, in case of manual, mostly the whatever the chemicals we spray, the spraying person inhales that, and that will affect his health. Whereas in case of drone spraying, that is that can be avoided to a greater extent. And these days, these rural youths, they have started some kind of employment using these drones. Then these are the drone regulations. Yes, it was released very recently, and different categories are there. Nano means 250, less than 250, micro 250 gram to 2 kg drone, and small, medium, large, different categories are there. So using this digital sky platform, we can register ourselves, register these organizations can register themselves for providing this drone pilot service. So this, for more information, we can refer this digital sky platform for this kind of regulatory norms. So every drone will have unique identification number, and all remote pilots should have undergone the training from authorized RPTO, remote pilot training authority or organization, and they all need, they should get license certification from that RPTO, like how we drive our two-wheelers and four-wheelers. The same way we should have the piloting license for flying these drones. All types of drones should have a type certificate. All these drones also to be will be certified from the DGCA. So that certificate is called type certificate. For nano drones, no type certificate is required. And again, different zones are available for flying. The green zone, yellow zone, and red zones are there. These drones were designated by the air traffic control, or by DGCA, and we can fly drone in green zone areas, and we need the permission from the air traffic control ATC from the nearby airport for flying in yellow zone. And in red zone, prior permission, or strictly we should avoid flying our drone in the red zone area. And insurance is also required. So when you open this image in the digital sky platform, it will tell which is yellow zone, which area is in red zone. So different regions have been classified by the DGCA, and we have to follow it very strictly. And there are different do's and don'ts while flying the drones. Flying of drones seems to be very simple, but you should be very, very careful with the regulations and all. So we should have, your drone should have a unique identification number from DGCA. And so we should always fly the drone in our eyesight, and we should not fly, though the drone can fly up to 5 kilometer range, but we should always keep it in our eye range only to avoid any accident or any other things. Then we have to strictly follow the guidelines, and we should stay away from the airports and heliports for flying the drones, and we should not enter the privacy of the people using these drones. And we have to record all your flight information, flying information, or when in case of any incident or accident happens, we should upload all those things in the digital sky platform. And these are some don'ts we should not, some of the points we should be very careful. We should not fly drones more than 400 feet, 20 meters from the ground level. And we should not fly drone near airports and heliports. And for public events, we should be very careful while flying the drones over the public. If something happens, that will be, it will become a fatal. So, mostly these no-fly zones or red zones will be near the airports, international borders, and some very military regiments and all. So these are the different other points we should be very careful with that. So this DGCA has approved a lot of drone piloting or training centers across the country. Even the Hindustan College is also one among the piloting RPTO. So we have to, once we have that certificate, then only we can go for flying these drones. And these are all some of the points related to the potential and benefits of UAVs in precision agriculture, farming, and crop management category. Well, most of the things I have discussed. And yes, coming to the disadvantages, yes, this can be hacked or attacked viruses, civilian casualties if it is not if it is not handled very properly. And it is a very low resistance to weather. Whenever any rainy day or the weather is not good, we should not fly drone in that bad weather condition, because since it is an electronic component, even a single drop of water entering inside the drone will finish off this drone. It will fall down straight. So we should be very careful while flying the drone. And these are some of the challenges in issues with drone applications in respect of agriculture application. The flight time and range. See, normally the battery will have the flying endurance of 20 minutes time. So in 20 minutes time, hardly we can cover some 2-acre area in case of mapping, and all 2 or 3 acres in one single flying. And again, life cycle of batteries also, mostly all these batteries can be used for 100 flyings. And again, maybe in future will get higher capacity batteries, and higher initial cost is also one of the constraints here. So normally these sprayer drones are of 10, they will be costing around 5 to 10 lakh rupees. So the initial cost, though government is supporting with some kind of subsidies for the women and the rural youths, but still, if the price comes down, then there will be a lot of takers of this technology. And again, this drone training institutes not available in each and every district. So only in the designated places, these drone training or piloting institutes are located. So in the years to come, we can find a lot of institutions providing this service in our nearby locality. Then, yeah, these are some weather parameter already we have discussed. So this is finally, I'm concluding it here. So this can provide a powerful sensor-based platform for monitoring the crop, plant yield, plant health, and other conditions for estimating the yield and all. So these are the crops can be monitored using drones, and that is of non-destructive nature. And so for breeding work, for developing any new variety, we can screen the crop using these particular parameters, because here we are not destructing any, not doing any destructive sampling. So using the image, we can capture. So large number of varieties can be screened at a single time, and that it saves a lot of time, and it is of high efficient. Then a lot of studies are undergoing using this RGB, multispectral and hyperspectral images for these particular traits for estimating this yield, biomass, height, and chlorophyll estimation. So RGB and multispectral sensors are low cost, but they're simple and much easier for data collection and analysis. However, RGB could only provide imaging information and from these three particular wavelength, three bands. So mostly for agriculture application, we need this multispectral or hyperspectral images. So, yeah. So that is as far as this research is concerned. This is for the farmers. Farmers will no longer have to walk around their farms for surveying soil and crop. So using from their workstation, they can fly the drones over the field, and they can come to the condition of the crop in once in a week, 10 days or so. So this is a technically advanced technology for commercial farmers or big farmers. Yes, for them this will be very useful for studying their crop or understanding the crop in the different growing period. So that's all for now. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask. And here I'm very thankful to the head of the department, aeronautical engineering department, and Dr. Saravakumar for giving me this opportunity. Yes. Now, if you have any doubt, yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think there is already question in the chat box, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, any data sets available online will just share the entire scenario. There is a question from.
Sir, we have not shared any data sets, sir, since our it is not we have not shared, sir. It is with our ICR database only. But I'm not sure about others whether they have shared this information which is available in open source, or the data set is available open in the open source. Available online, yeah, share the entire scenarios. I'm not sure because we ourselves are not aware, sharing our data sets. It is all kept in our database. Some burning areas for agriculture research, yes, I mentioned. See, for developing any varieties, we need to do, see, for example, for sugarcane crop, if we take, for developing a variety, it takes 14 years of time. 15 to 15 years. So what we do, every stage I mean, after crossing and once we get the initial parenting, initial material, we have to estimate all different parameters. As I mentioned, greenness, initial vigor, many crop parameters like juice content and crop height, all those things we do. So when we do this manually, it will take a lot of time. Whereas if we do the imaging, I mean, flying the drones over the field, and if we do it in short period of time, we can pinpoint, yes, this much, this entries are having higher potential to go to the next level. So in that way, for breeding work, this will reduce the time for releasing, for identifying the promising varieties or promising lines for the next level. And for agriculture research, yes, another burning area is for this spraying technology. Yes, this is also one important region where we can use it for extensively. This technology, this will, as I mentioned, so whenever manually this particular these fields are subjected to spraying, the all these chemicals are very harmful chemicals. So when we do it manually, so high health hazards are there. Whereas if we
Yes, sir. I think there is problem with the resource person side. We'll take another 2 to 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
Sir, you are on mute.
yeah.
Yes, sir. So
So
participants, if you have any questions, you can ask directly. You can unmute and ask so that it will be easy for our resource person to answer. Sir, if there is no question, I think. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
I think there is no more questions.
no more questions. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your detailed presentation, sir. It was very useful, and you have quoted so many research data, which
Yeah.
was very useful. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir, for this great opportunity, and hope everybody enjoyed my talk. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, participants, we are about to start the second session, so kindly hold on for another 2 minutes. So we'll be starting our second session for today. Gokul, whether am I audible, Gokul?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Yes. Okay. So we participants, we are going to start the second session, and I am very happy to welcome Mr. Gokul Selva, UAV survey engineer, Aris Marine and Engineering Services, Sharjah, UAE. He's a DGCA certified RPAS pilot and an instructor for small category. An aeronautical engineer with close to 10 years of work experience in various UAV projects such as aerial visual and thermal inspection, aerial filming, aerial topographical survey, photogrammetry and LiDAR, aerial indoor inspection, underwater ROV inspection in UAE and India. His technical skills are inspection and mapping with various categories of drone. He has completed various outdoor, indoor, underwater projects in UAE and India, fully capable of performing project execution planning, flight dive planning, data acquisition, post processing, data analysis, report making, and research and development works. He's also used the technology like artificial intelligence in defect identification, inspection, report generation. Experienced in aerial LiDAR system, mobile LiDAR system. He's also an autonomous and manual ROV operator, even in a confined space. He's very well versed in LiDAR technology, including assembly, calibrating, and testing the equipment. Capable of analyzing system performance, working technology to prepare documents and detailed reports. So this is the a few technical skills that I've pointed out. He's having a vast experience for the past 10 years, and I'm very happy to share that he is my first batch student of aeronautical engineers. So I'm very proud being a faculty member, and I'm very proud to listen to my student lecture for another 1 hour. And he's here to discuss and provide an insight of drone survey and mapping. Thank you, Gokul. Thank you for your time. Mm, Up to you, Gokul. You can take it over.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the detailed introduction, and thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I'll just present.
Yes, Gokul. Yes, Gokul. Your screen is visible, Gokul.
Yeah, thank you for confirming, sir.
Thank you.
So yeah, let us proceed. So hi everyone. Good evening to all. Myself Gokul. As per the intro, we are going to discuss on the topic drone survey and mapping. So quickly jumping into the agenda. So we'll have a like small introduction, like what is the topic about. I'll just break down the basics, and we'll see about the advantages why we are going to choose the drone survey. Coming the technology, then the methods. What are the methods of survey that we use in industry to make this happen? And finally, the data mapping. How do we map and what we get out of it? So yeah, let's get started.
Yes, Gokul.
So yeah, so first of all, survey means like generally collection of data, right? When we talk about drone survey, we assume that as an engineering operation, out of which we collect 3D data, that is X, Y, Z of a location. This is that simple as it is. So if I consider a room, so I collect X, Y, Z of all four corners. So we consider that as a survey, right? So what is a drone survey? So when I use drones for collecting the same data, same geospatial data, we consider that as a drone survey. Very basic. Coming to the mapping. So once I have done with the survey, so I will have enough amount of data, right? Once the data is being out of the drone, it undergoes various stages of processing, out of which we get few outputs that we'll be discussing in the upcoming slides. So these outputs will be processed so that we create 3D models, 3D maps, out of which we can do the decision making for like n number of projects based on the applications. So before starting, does anyone have any idea why this modern world have chosen drones also for survey than the traditional method?
Participants, you can just discuss or you can just put the answer in the chat box.
Yeah, great. So let me proceed. So drone data always gives us the enthusiasm because it gives the faster data collection than the traditional methods. Why? Because when I wanted to do a survey of a 75 or an 100-kilometer road, there will be a time consumption of more than 30 days for a traditional method. Whereas we can achieve the same data collection using the drones just in 6 days. So this fast, so we are like drastically reducing the data collection time using the drones. Then the uh, number of applications in which we can use this drone survey is vast. It cannot be listed in 1 or 2 pages. So this is one of the main advantage that drones are ruling the survey market as well. So yeah, third point is safety. So when you talk about safety, if a human wanted to walk along a jungle just to survey a railway line, day and night he cannot spend there, right? So it's a very hazardous zone. Not only forest, non-linear terrain where normal human cannot claim without any aids. Drones can just fly over that. So if a human is able to collect, for example, 50 points per day, drones will collect the same in 1 hour. Not only 50 to 100 points, it will collect more than millions of points every single second. So finally, talking about the cost wise, there can be an argument like investing on this equipment, that equipment. But at the end of the day, if I wanted to complete a survey in 6 days, I wanted to increase my manpower, right? Whereas my overall project cost will go up. Whereas if I use drones efficiently, investing on drones will have a cost effective project cost. Yeah, coming to the technology, what's the technology that makes this happen? Like, if there is something in this technology, right? Today we use mobiles because it helps us in like a number of ways. Similarly, drone has something in it so that this survey is like a piece of cake in civil industry or any other application. So I'll talk about the technology. What are the main things in this technology that makes things happen here? First thing, the drone itself, everyone does know, right? So today's flight controllers are like a computer on board, so it can think by itself. Even AI is like currently introduced in drones, so that it's do the same survey multiple times for project monitoring, construction monitoring. So we are using the best drones in the market to achieve the results in a best way. So coming to the next thing in the technology, that is the payload. Thanks to the engineers who made today's payloads. Okay, so let me like give you an example. If I wanted to capture a photo from from a meter of like 120 meters high, the ground is like 120 meters away from my drone's lens, right? But still, I will be able to achieve an accuracy less than 5 centimeter. Whereas my pixel clarity is that such good, the sensors are able to make this precise surveys because of these advanced payloads. When we talk about payloads, there are multiple and various payloads for various applications. So let me talk about very few here. First is the RGB camera, like that we all know what we use in our mobile phones. It is very similar to that with advanced optical lenses and the sensors. Talking about LiDAR, we with like 2 3 slides on the LiDAR, we will talk brief about it. So LiDAR is nothing but we used laser lights to collect data. That is as simple as that. So talking about multispectral data. So everyone might have undergone like session for agriculture. So in agriculture, multispectra is a game changer. This multispectral camera like captures light in various lenses and integrate together in the post processing, out of which we can monitor crops. Yeah, next important thing is this thermal sensors, which are helping many defense and non-defense or enterprise people for their like solar night operations, search and rescue. So, like talking about these payloads and its applications are like very vast, very vast. Yeah. So proceeding to the next. Yeah. Thanks again to the software. Like whatever data we collect from the payload, like it is a raw format, right? So software is the one who is helping us to use the same for the application. If suppose we consider the survey, we collect raw data as images or the point clouds. What does this software do? They analyze the data, they stitch the data, they prepare maps for us. So these softwares are the like one who's deciding the end result of an project. So till here, any question for me?
I think we'll take the question at the end, Gokul, so that it will be fine. So that
Yeah, thanks, I got it.
yes.
Yeah, coming to the methods. So we now know about the like what is a drone survey, what are the advantages, and, like why we use what's the technology behind it, right? So let us talk about the methods as well. So first method that we are going to discuss is the photogrammetry, which is the vast, like widely used method for drone survey. So it is, I want to keep it very simple. We are going to take photographs from aerial view and we are going to make maps out of which we will measure the data. So photogrammetry lets us to measure things not only in 2D, we can also measure things in 3D as well. So the first step in photogrammetry is data collection, as we all know. So what happens in this data collection? So when I plan a mission, I wanted a like aerial photograph of an area for an 1 square kilometer. So what I will do is I will upload the same border. If suppose I wanted to say so and so latlon to the so and so latlon, I will ask the drone just go there, fly, and my autopilot will trigger when to take the photos. So just clicking a random photos will not work. Why? Because this data collection is the primary step that we are taking for the drone survey, right? So in data collection, there are key factors that we have to consider. First and foremost is the height. At what height you are going to fly. So considering this altitude at what you are going to fly, we will also decide the overlap of photos. So talking about overlap, so what is the overlap? It is nothing but like intersection of two images. So if you consider an quadcopter or any drones, you will have two different types of overlap. First thing is the frontal overlap. So when my drone flies at say 5 meters per second, so at every interval, it has to click a photo, right? Well, because I cannot cover the entire 1 square kilometer in a single photo. That's why I'm asking my drone to click and photo from so and so altitude at so and so interval. So this decides my accuracy or how good the clarity of the map that I'm going to make. So second overlap is the side overlap. So I cannot cover the entire area in a single go, right? Just flying in the front, I cannot get. So my drone will also take multiple lines. So I will also get side overlap. So based on the height and the overlap, I will generate a good map which have the ground sampling distance, that is distance between center of each pixel less than 5 to 2 to 5 centimeter. for example. So these are the things that we have to consider during our data collection. So here is the representation of the same. You can see like this entire area is being mapped, and our drone has captured each and every single photos. You can see there are like more than thousands of images for this area, right? Yeah. So what we have to do next? After data collection, obviously, yes, the data processing happens, out of which we will get some like partially processed data. Then we will do the mapping, out of which we will get the end result of the drone survey and mapping. So let us talk about data processing. So, as I told, we will be collecting individual images of the area, and my software is going to help me in stitching. Like, for example, if I give the minimum requirement of the overlap, it is going to give me a very good result, and it will stitch all the images and give my outputs, such as orthomosaic. So, talking about orthomosaic, ortho is always 90 degrees. Okay, so orthomosaic is going to give me a two-dimensional data. If I wanted only and two-dimensional data, I am not at all concerned about the like third dimension or my turn. How does it look like? I just wanted to, if I like consider and land at the city outer, I just wanted to mark the boundaries of the same. In those cases, my third dimensional will not be much important for the project. In that case, generating a 2D orthomosaic map will do the purpose. Coming to the second output, what I will be decide of is the 3D point cloud. Here, each and every pixel will be distributed correspondingly to the entire area from the images, and all the pixels will have their x, y, z. So in this world, x, y, z, if I know, I can directly reach out to the exact point where I wanted to go, right? So this precisely we will be able to generate data out of an image that we have collected aerially. So the other output, what we will be decide of for the like based on the application, like many would have know the digital surface model. I wanted to know the surface, like where all how much slope my surface has, how much deviation this the terrain has. If suppose I'm not interested about the surface, I'm not at all concerned about the buildings. Surface model always includes all the artificial and natural things on the surface of the earth. If I don't wanted that, I wanted to eliminate, I'm going to adding all those things for my project. I just wanted to consider the terrain means, even that you can generate out of these images. So those models which you consider only the terrain is called as digital terrain model. So now you can see like I have arrived to a point where I have data like it is processed out of the drone images, right? But see the value of the data. If suppose I wanted to know how much trees are there in this area, I can get it. How much buildings are there in this area, I can get it. If suppose I am doing the same thing via traditional method, imagine how hard it would be, how much accuracy we will get, and what is the tolerance that we are talking about. Yeah, proceeding to the next method, that is lidar. So light detection and ranging. So using this lidar sensor, we will collect 3D point clouds directly. Now at this stage only you will be able to guess few things, like the first method has some like cons, right? But because we are collecting images, after that we are processing it, then we are collecting the 3D point clouds. 3D point cloud is nothing but like all the pixels will have value, right? Whereas in this lidar, I'm able to get the 3D point cloud immediately when I start the data collection. So that is the main advantage of this. Whereas the time consumption in the data processing will reduce, right? So other than this, like can get a number of like advantages over the photogrammetry. If I wanted to fly the drones over a forest, I will be able to get data just on top of the trees, on top of the canopy. Whereas if I wanted to collect data just below the like canopy, if I have a trees, entire trees over the forest, I wanted to collect data for the terrain which is below the canopy, right? So in those cases, LiDAR is a game changer. So LiDAR can penetrate through these canopies and give me the terrain data of the entire place where we have like dark forest. So here also the data collection is pretty simple, pretty same, pretty straightforward. Here also I wanted to maintain my overlaps, but not that critical as my photogrammetry. Why? Because my data processing will not require like similarities between photos to stitch them. Here, the point cloud is already stitched by itself, where it will need only few corrections before I output. So this is a representation of a LiDAR survey where the LiDAR scanners will just scan an entire like survey area and get me the 3D point clouds directly. So here also it is very simple. Data collection will be followed by like data processing and data mapping. Only advantage what we get here is my data collection time will be drastically reduced because I just wanted to clean my data. Like there will be noises expected in this kind of survey. So I'll just clear the those data and I can directly export my orthomosaics 3D point clouds, that is final 3D point cloud after cleaning, then digital surface model and digital terrain model. Yeah. So now we have discussed on two major methods, correct? So let us like see what are the pros and cons of both of them. First thing here in photogrammetry, I'm directly capturing only images, whereas in LiDAR, I'm going to capture the precise 3D models then and there during the survey. Next, there is an it is a kind of limitation. We cannot call it as a disadvantage of the photogrammetry because it requires light to record the images. Correct. So photogrammetry always require good lighting and clear weather. Weather is like common for both, but still LiDAR can like help us in little dark conditions as well. So that's why we have from the LiDAR portion, we have it can work in low lights also. As we discussed earlier, it can work through vegetation as well. So coming to the cost, yes, LiDARs are expensive. Like initial investment will be more than the photogrammetry. Sorry, the photogrammetry drones. Here the sensors itself is like very costly compared to the normal RGB cameras. But however, when we like talk about a large area surveys, photogrammetry would be like bit cost effective than the LiDAR. Yeah, coming to the elevation part. Here I have like told as less precise for elevation. That is just compared to the LiDAR. That's all. In photogrammetry also, I will be able to generate like survey grade accuracy for X, Y, Z. When I compare the same thing to LiDAR, it is less accurate. That is why it is like less precise than the LiDAR. Whereas in LiDAR, since it is like directly collecting the points X, Y, Z, it is more accurate than the photogrammetry. Yeah, both of the methods are having their own applications where they are the masters. For example, in forestry or the mining thing, LiDAR would be the best. Whereas for urban planning, I will not be considered that much on the elevation, right? Why? Because I wanted most of the assets or the road or the rivers where I wanted to do the planning for bridge or those things. So urban planning, real estate, these kinds of most of the enterprise kind of things, photogrammetry will work. Whereas when you talk about like non-enterprise, where you are more specific about your application for what you're doing, these kinds of things, LiDAR would be the best. Yeah, we have arrived to the final closer of this session. Why? Because we have our data, we have processed it. Finally, we are doing the mapping. So when I have the orthomosaics and 3D point cloud, I can classify those points for each and every building, road, trees, electric poles, for whatever the feature I wanted to like extract out of the data. Yes, I can do it. So here there is a representation like of an actual data, how we do, what is the outcome that we get of the drone mapping. So once we get the like final output, we can do the area calculation, volume calculation, and number of assets in the survey zone, number of trees, and whatever the interest is of. Yes, we can achieve it. So yeah, that was the session. Any doubts?
Uh, Participants, if you have any doubts, you can put in the chat box, and if you have any doubts, you can also unmute and discuss. Gokul, I'll start with a question.
Yes, sir.
You have mentioned two different methods. That is, one is LiDAR, the other one is photogrammetry.
Yes, sir.
How, which method you prefer or which method you select? Is it based on the area where you are going to work, or on what basis it is being selected, Gokul?
Yes, sir. So it completely depends on the application and the area where we are going to do the survey. As I told earlier, it would, if suppose I have a vegetation or very minute detail has to be covered. For example, I will give you an railway lines. I wanted to know whether the line is being affected by any of the trees which is parallel to it, or the overhead electrification lines are affected by any of the other objects. In those cases, photogrammetry can do the job, but not right as a LiDAR. So this LiDAR will give me precise positioning of the wires as well. So based on the project and the survey application, we decide the methods.
Okay, okay. I think there is one question in the chat box whether using any one of the method can we measure the height of a tree. There is one question.
Yeah, I got the question. It is from Raila Ravi. Can I get the height of a tree in forest with radar? Yes, obviously we will be able to get the height of the trees. Any more questions? Yeah, I got a
Yes.
next one.
Okay.
Job market in global scenario, Indian scenario, package for freshers, prerequisites for a mechanical engineer. Yeah, global scenario talking about yeah, for jobs. Yes, drone industry is like booming. Like we all know how it has grown up in the past 5 years, and what is the like graph would be in the next 5 years. Yes, I would strongly recommend for a fresher. And regarding the package, it depends on the industry or the company that you join as a fresher. Coming to an mechanical engineer or the stream that you prefer, yeah, drone industry doesn't limit any like any engineers, like for example, we have engineers who has done triple EC, CS, or whatever maybe the even environmental engineers are like today's drone developers. So it all depends on the skill and the interest that they show. For the prerequisites, it is always mandatory that you should have the drone piloting skill or the drone development skill for joining an drone company. Hope that answers your question. Anything else?
Cool. What is the difference between the regulations? Because in India, we have platform like Digital Sky through which we can get to know the rules and regulations. What about the regulations in UAE? Whether it differs too much or it is more simple, same?
Yes, answering that, it is like very different from India and UAE. Since like I'm doing operations for both India and UAE, I can feel the difference. Like here, also regulations are getting strict, whereas in UAE it is already strict. So it is much more like processes that you have to go through before you have to do a project. For example, I wanted to like do a very small survey. I wanted to go through a process of say like a month or more based on the like area where I do. So it is like pretty complicated here based on the emirate where you are going to do the project. Overall, yes, regulations wise here it is more matured, what I feel, which I'm expecting the same in India in next few months.
And I have one more point. You were mentioning
Yes.
about the weather conditions for during drone survey. How much uh, the effect will be there with your output when you have some you are supposed to work? Maybe we will not be operating the drone when there is adverse weather condition. But how
Yes.
much effect it will create with the output when there is a different weather condition? Because in UAE weather condition will be different when it compared to India. So how you manage that?
Yes, sir. Going. Talking about the weather conditions, so here we have to look into two factors. First is the limitation of the drone itself. If my drone has so and so environmental temperature as an operating temperature, yes, that applies for UAE and India. Whereas that would be a critical factor for us to operate here because the temperature is always like higher or close to the operating temperature. So coming to the weather conditions that I was mentioning in the session for the drone survey is completely like different from the limitations of the drone. If suppose I wanted to do a drone survey of an terrain which is very non-linear or containing like more mountains, so I wanted to choose the time of survey where I'm going to plan my survey drone data collection. If suppose I prefer like before noon or after the noon, like for post 3 o'clock, there are major difference. Why? Because my shadow of one mountain will fall on the other, whereas I will get dark zone or the shadow of another mountain over here. Here, my light will go off, right? So this is the factor that majorly affects here when we do the like survey drone survey for a non-linear terrain. So these factors we also consider for other projects, but generally for non-linear terrain survey, this though we have the enough lumens of light, we face this difficulty.
Okay. I think there is a question in the chat box.
Yeah, I can able to see.
Um,
Yeah,
yes.
Dr. Mohan Reddy. Yeah, to do research work in drone applications, it is a costly affair for an individual to afford. Are there any agencies offering paid service in India? To do research work in drone applications, it is for an individual to afford. Yeah, yes, sir. Answering your question, as on date, there are rental drones. However, operate do to do and research work, you will actually have another way of doing it. Why? Because like there are n number of manufacturers in like India. So you can always reach out to them for the case studies. Why? Because for research drone, it is completely, the regulations vary. It is not like a commercial operation or a normal operation that you do in green zones in India. So you can always reach out to the manufacturers, because they will also having some kind of test cases with their drones, or such kind of things can happen. So you can combine with them. So research will also get like completed, instead of going for a rental service in India. Yeah, that answers your question. If anything else, yeah, I'm open. Yeah, thank you. So next question is, will LiDAR work during nighttime? Yes, obviously. Why? Because I don't want that light to record the images. My sensors are going to throw the light races continuously. It is going to record the return time. Based on that, X, Y, Z of that particular location can be recorded. So this is how LiDAR works. Or like there are more complex, like what to say, calculations, these things happening. But keeping it simple, this is how it works. Yes, it can work during nighttime. Yeah. The next question is, what are the issues usage of LiDAR during daytime? During daytime, yeah, there are limitations in like LiDAR systems itself. Why? Because its operating temperature will not be that great for it to functional during like worst temperatures. Other than that, usage of LiDAR, I hope during day or night it doesn't matter. Yeah, coming to the next question, what are the simulation toolbox available for LiDAR mapping? Yeah, there are simulation toolboxes, but can you please mention like what is the application that you are referring?
Yes, I think it is Madan Kumar sir. If
Yeah,
you
Madan
are
Kumar.
there, so you can mention for what application this
Yeah, I'll answer.
going.
Why? Because like forest area. Yes, there are major LiDAR manufacturers out of US and Europe. So, like, I can drop those things post this meeting to Saranand sir. So he will reach out to you. So I will give you the links where you will be able to get the like simulation or the data that you are looking for the forest area.
Yes. Any other?
Sir, my previous question regarding measuring the height of the tree, assume that
Yes.
something like eucalyptus tree kind of thing in deep forest. So will the lidar will be able to go deeper and will be able to get the height? Because sometimes there could be hill areas. So how to do that?
Yes, sir. Again, talking about the same point, the answer is yes. There are few cases where you will not be able to collect multiple points of the like bottom of the tree, but yes, you will be able to collect data which is enough for you to measure the height. So I'm pretty sure that out of like millions of points, like approximately lakhs of point will reach the terrain, even if it is a whatever may be the kind of tree.
Means now from where you have to operate lidar in this case?
uh, you mean to say the takeoff location that you're talking, sir?
Yeah, now imaging like
Yeah.
where I have to keep the base and take.
Okay, you are talking about like the takeoff location from where you will launch the drone, correct? So for drones, always it is the limitation again, what kind of drone you're like using. So based on that, it will have an like enough minimum like open space or the clearance zone. Based on that, you should always be closer to the area where you are doing the survey. For example, if suppose you are doing an like survey of 2 square kilometer, I assume you should be somewhere inside the boundary.
Sir, my question is now let us say lidar is carried by drone. So will
Yeah.
it has to be flying above that tree, then it will be able to get back nearly with some elevation angle, then only it will be able to take that. Because
Yes,
in
sir.
the canopy and all, like next it may not be able to see the base.
Yes, sir. Agreed. We will be flying above the trees. Like for example, we are flying minimum like 120 meters or higher. Sure, we will clear the trees and the points will be able to reach the bottom of the tree.
This multispectral anyway, it will work. It will help for us in this case. Let us say if we are not able to get the base of the tree, means
No, sir.
multi.
Actually, the multispectral sensors also follow the photogrammetry method, but they will not be able to get. There is no guarantee that we will get the points below the canopy using using images. Whereas lidars, we have more chances. There are like chances are higher compared to photogrammetry of getting the terrain below the trees.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think, do we have any question? Any more questions? Google, just name out the software that is used that can be used for processing this drone survey data. Any software you mentioned two, I believe, in the presentation. Uh,
Yeah.
what are the software you have worked with? Any particular
Yeah,
software name?
I have worked personally worked with Pixpodi, Agisoft, and one more thing is a global mapper. So I can mention a few more also, but these are things I have not like personal experience. But in the market, we have more than like close to 10 reliable softwares. Out of 10, I can suggest like Pixpodi, Agisoft, and Global Mapper. These three are like major players.
Okay. There is one more question, Gopi. Personally, in the sense, with respect to the college, we have a civil department in our college where civil department they are planning to include drone survey in their laboratory. That is survey laboratory. They are trying to include drone survey. Being you have worked in this field for 10, close to 10 years, whether what are the things you prefer? So whether anyway we are going to include it, but how can we include whether we need to start from the basics or directly whether we can buy a drone, survey drone, and whether we can train them? How can we do that? Okay.
Yes, I am happy to answer this question. Yes, I from my perspective, yes, it is a mandatory that you should go for the purchase of a drone, which is like type certified, and which is a good mapping drone in the market. In addition to this, I would also suggest to go for an like a DIY drones. Why? Because like you can explore or like allow the students to go beyond the limit, like inventing new things in the mapping or any application. For example, we have PPK drones or the RTK drones in the market. However, it is like more bit expensive, or the method that the drones in the market use are a bit lengthier or crucial. So students can explore these areas where the current industry is having crucial things, so that the students can work on this and get the industry out of it or invent new things out of it. So yeah, purchasing a drone is mandatory to operate or like do the day-to-day activities or the teaching. Apart from this, I also suggest for doing the same.
Okay. Okay, Gokul. Thank you, Gokul. I think there is
Yeah,
no more questions.
yeah, pleasure.
So that thank you for your time, sir. Thank you for your time, Gokul. From UAE, we have connected and with your busy schedule. Thank you so much. I'm always proud to hear you being a student. Thank you so much, Gokul. Proud of you.
Yeah, pleasure, sir.
Take care.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. Thanks for the opportunity, sir. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you.
Participants, we have a few instructions before we conclude. Tomorrow, we are going to start the session by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Since it is the last day, we have three sessions tomorrow. So we'll be starting by 2 o'clock. And third session will be a will be ending close to 6:30. And once the third session is completed, you are supposed to give a feedback about the program in your Atal portal. So tomorrow we'll be guiding you with that. And after providing the feedback, there is an assessment. So assessment is also you are supposed to complete by tomorrow, because since you might have attended offline Atal FTP, that is a different year. You are going to attend in your Atal portal itself using your ID. So we have said that 25 questions will be there in all our multiple choice question, and you are going to be provided only 30 minutes to answer the 25 questions. So I'm trying to get PPT from all the resource person today. The previous session PPT I'll be getting it, and I'll be getting from the Gokul Silva sir also. So I'll be sharing it. So be prepared. A reminder again, tomorrow we are going to start the session by 2 o'clock. There will be a three session, after which you are supposed to provide feedback about the program, and then you will be having an assessment. Only if all these things are completed, each and everyone will be eligible to get the certificate from that. So if you have any doubts regarding this, you can contact me, and uh, if you have any doubts, in the sense when you are attending the assessment tomorrow, if you have any issues with your portal, you can just contact us. So we are always ready to help you. But you are supposed to complete after the third session. So the test will begin by 6:30. So I want all to be available, make arrangements so that all will be available at the 6:30 p.m. to start the test, because the duration is only 30 minutes to answer the 25 questions. If you have any questions regarding whatever I said, you can just ask me, so that we'll take another 2 to 3 minutes. If you have any
Sir,
questions.
sir,
Yes,
one
sir.
request. Sir,
Yes, sir.
please share resource material for preparation.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, test like a Google form or any other method you have used,
No,
sir?
sir. It is in your portal, sir. Once you get into your portal, if you click the FDP of our Hindustan College of Engineering, you will be getting the test. The test link will be opened in the Atal portal only by 6:30. 6:30 p.m.
The directly portal we have to answer. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because it is different from offline FTP, sir. It is different.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. I think that's all. There is no more questions. So tomorrow from 2 o'clock till you all complete the test, we'll be available. So if you have any queries at any moment, you can reach us either through WhatsApp or through call. Thank you all. Thank you for your time, and we'll be meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you all.